I just double checked the OBS settings that I'm using and the audio is peaking, so I've fixed that now. Also, my voice sounds really tinny. I need to get a microphone. I have a microphone, but not with me right now. I think I'll be able to fix that in the next video, but for now, my voice is going to sound tinny, so my bad. Okay. So what we're going to do now is make it so that categories and tags are just display components that take props and display stuff. And then they're going to have some kind of wrapper that is fetching the data or passing in the data. And the data for now is going to be for user ID 12 for the logged in user. But once this is working, I'll be able to then use a different wrapper, and instead of fetching stuff for the current user, I'll fetch stuff for the given public collection. And then boom, categories and tags will work. Hopefully it's not that big of a deal. We're going to find out. So what changed? All right, fine. Okay, so we're going to go to the side drawer index. And we're going to go to the side drawer categories display, use query. We're not using tags anymore. Yeah, this component's also huge. And then this is the cat. Okay, yeah, so this first list item is this thing. You click it and you see the list inside, which is a collapse. Yeah, this. So all of this okay, and then the user category drop down. Oh, that's this thing. Oh yeah, drop down. Yeah, that's just the drop down. So this is the so this is the drop down, which is this. And then the button is this. I would normally be doing this on 2 screens, but I'm only recording 1 screen right now, so there's going to be a lot of back and forth. And then this whole list item is just this thing. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, so all of this we're going to end up rendering. This is all going to be something else. So this is going to be, what do you call this? Side drawer categories, category display. So this is going to be, what do we name this? Category. Category. Display categories. Categories display. Not a huge fan of that name, but I can come back to that. So the side drawer categories display will render the categories display. I don't like that, but we can come back to that. Okay. And then for this one, okay, so then here we are only going to display, all this is going to do is render the categories display. And we're going to delete a lot of this stuff and it'll become way more manageable, way quicker. Okay, categories display from cat to categories display. Don't need any of that, we're going to come back to this stuff, but we're going to just start deleting stuff. Why are you unhappy? Oh yeah, that's fine. Here you are now called just categories display. Okay. So any use query stuff stays in the index, and so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the categories display, I'm taking what was in the index and I'm separating it into two components. The index is now just going to be fetching data and passing it to categories display, and categories display is going to be doing all of the display logic that was in this one component. So one component becomes two. The component one component becomes an index and it becomes categories display. Index fetches data, categories display, given that data as props, display stuff. And then categories display I will be able to reuse in the future for public collections, because all I need to do is pass it data from a collection instead of from user ID 12, and things will just work. The goal right now is to make this work for just user ID 12, and then we should be good. We don't need any new logic. All we need to do is just rewire this. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of flying through this. I'll do a better job at explaining as I go. But this is just a bunch of rewiring, and okay. So anything that's data related, I'm going to keep in this component, and I'm deleting other stuff just to reduce the amount of stuff that's in here, so it starts to become easier to look at. This is data stuff, but this is we don't. Yeah, it's fine. State stuff, state stuff, state stuff. And I'll drop. Yeah, that's not going to be part of this. Determine owner type is not going to be part of this. Owner ID not going to be part. Like all of this is stuff that, given data, does stuff. Doesn't matter. We are going to. All that stays in here is us fetching data. Update folder. And I'll update folder item. And these codes stay in the parent. Okay, we're gonna do this the easy way, and like data. Okay, we're gonna. I'm just gonna do it this way for now. Okay. Folder query data, disease query, category data. Maybe I did I do this a silly way? Right, so we fetch categories and then we do stuff. So do I want to pass it tree data, or do I want to pass it category? No, we're going to. Yeah, it's fine. all we're going to do, this might end up being way easier than I thought. Edit, delete, create or update folder can all stay for now. Is it really going to be that easy? Folder query data equals folder query data. Category query. Category query data equals category query data. We don't need any of these contexts. Oh, but then we do pass all of this. Okay. So I'm honestly not a huge fan of this yet. This isn't actually looking as we're gonna have to figure this out. Okay. So this should work, I think, because then categories, I can just pass in folder and category query data from a collection and still reuse this component. My concern is that I'm doing a ton of data manipulation. Like I get the folder query data and category query data from the backend, but then I have to do a bunch of data massaging to get it in the right form so that it can work for the drop-down lists. But that's not, I think that's actually fine because what I want, this chair is so squeaky. What I want to standardize on is the data that's coming from the back end. That's the ultimate source of truth of what a folder or what a category is. And if the front end needs to do massaging of data to make things display correctly, that is the front end's responsibility. And I think there's an argument that is display logic, not logic such as like fetching data logic. Like it's data logic, but it's display logic. I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm going to leave it for now though, because this is really clean. And then categories display's job is to display categories, and if it needs to manipulate data, change the shape of data in order to do that, it can. But categories display isn't going to require some esoteric, isn't going to require data to be in some esoteric shape to work. It's going to be, all it requires is folder data and category data from the backend. I like that. Okay, so let's type these out so that it doesn't, so this is reusable. Okay, so we're going to go to the categories display. I need to type out folder query data and category query data, which is I forget, how have I done that in the past? Oh yeah, I just did this, paginated link interface. Okay, so interface. We'll call this fetch folder interface. Fetch folder. What do I call this? Get folder query interface. That's what I call it. It has data, which is folder interface. Folder interface. It's an array. Okay. And then you are that. Import from interfaces folders. And we're going to do the same thing for categories. Interface category, export interface, get category interface. It has data, which is category interface array. So we got those, and now we're going to go to categories display. And all we need to do here is add two things. And we have get folders, and we have get categories, and I called these, I forgot what I called these already. Folder query data, category query data. And then I need to import those two guys again. Close this, close this, close this. Types here. And why are you interfaces category? Oh yeah, and this is unhappy because these are optional, because we might not have, like these might not have, well, no, it'll return an empty array. If GraphQL fails to fetch something, it can return undefined. So get folder query data can fail to fetch data, and it'll have data as undefined. So, oh yeah, so data will be undefined. So it's not that, it's this guy is optional, and this guy. What is wrong with you? Oh, this was singular. I should fix that, but I'll fix that later. Yeah, I'm not going to do that now because that's used in a billion places, and I don't want to mess up this commit. I want this commit to be one thing. I've already changed. It's only 2 files, but 4 files, excuse me. But okay, so with this done, category, like now we're getting folder query data and category query data from props. You're just unhappy because you're not being used, right? Cannot redeclare blocked. Oh yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah, that's sweet. So we just do that. And that should just work. I think. What do we, oh yeah, if we update folder, we need to refetch get folders, that's fine. We don't need to use query anymore. What did I mess up here? Data dot query data dot data. Yeah, I guess it's. I want to double check that. Yeah, so the front end's blowing up right now, right? Yeah. Okay, let me double check the shape real quick. Bring Postman over here. Do I have folder? Get users folder. All right. Create session. Get session. Option. What? And this is from the work I did on the extension, but I'm not giving away any personal information on these, right? Again, ever. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's see. Get users folder. Do you work? Yes, you do. Okay. So data folders. Okay, so it is data folders and then the individual folders. So the shape I have on here is wrong. Oops. Data folders. Is that right? Is that how you do that? And folders could be optional too, I think. No, you should always have folders if you have data. Let's test it. So get folder, query type, folders. Is woot. Okay, so I'm double checking what the shape of the data looks like if this blows up. I just want to be sure. I want to just type this right. We still have data, but we do not have folders. That makes sense. Okay. So unraise woot. I'm going to go to here, and folders is also optional. And we need to do the same thing with category data. Categories. Okay, so now we go back to categories display. Did that just fix everything? No. Type of property data or type get folders query interface. I think that's just making one more thing optional, right? Yeah, so then these are still optional too. Everything's optional. I don't like that, but okay. Well, object. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so now that we've typed these properly, everything's unhappy because folder query data could be and category query data could be nothing. So we're going to do this. This already is doing a check to make formatted folder data either a empty array or stuff, and it only does it if folder query data folders exists. So really all I'm doing right here is one-lining, does folder query data exist? Does folder query data exist? Does folder query data folders exist? It's a little ugly, but it's fine for now. Did we fix everything? Not yet. Categories, display. This is back on the other page. So, okay, we're going to go back to the side drawer, and what are you unhappy about? Folder query data is this, yeah. Get folder query interface. So folder query data is a get folder query interface. And then this is a get folder query interface. Why are you unhappy? I get that the query result is a folder query interface or operation variables. Or is that saying, because you can say like use query can return more than one thing. Because it can return like data loading, and so that's probably like the loading. So if I say loading, I'm gonna do this, right? Oh, that's actually what I have to do. That's what I did wrong. Category query data, I'm setting this whole object. Oh, yeah, that's what I did wrong. So yeah. Okay, so to make that more obvious for myself, stop. We're gonna do dot data. That's not right. That's worse. It's this. Dot data. Dot data. Use query can gives it this folder query data object is more information. So, oh, but then now I'm passing just data. Okay. So this is okay, I have to do it this way because if I separated them and did this, I obviously can't do this because now I have two datas. So I have to, this is the cleanest way to do it, and then I pass in just data. But now this is wrong. Can I do that? Yes. So that works, but now this will blow up down here because we don't need data, which is fine. That's actually, I think, prettier. But there's going to be a lot of data to delete. It's just fine. It's the last one, I guess. Luckily, this is typed, so while this is a little sketchy to do, it's because I typed it, it's going to be easy. Okay, getting closer, hopefully. Now we just went through this. And I fixed, why, seriously? Okay, so the problem's fixed. The issue is that I did these wrong. We do not want this to be nested with data. It's just folders. All we're doing is typing the data object in as returned from useQuery, not like one layer outside that includes data. That's my bad. So that's fixed. Did I do that for categories yet? I did. And then for categories here, we need to do the same thing. We're using that one, not this guy, and not this guy. And let's go ahead and go back to one window so I can actually see. Open that back up. Okay. Does it not work? It does. Are our categories working? They are. Let's hard refresh. And I can still do things. I guess let's find something that actually has a category. What category should I be looking for? Test cat 1 or test cat 2. And we're in business. Test cat 2, let's do another one. Test cat 1, that's probably in a folder. I need to reset this. Well, you don't exist. How do you not exist? Is it a bug or is it? Test cat 1. Oops, it's not gonna work. Oh, that might be orphaned, actually. Yeah, that might like be in a folder that was deleted because the front-end data is a little messed up on my local. I need to reset this. So yeah, this is probably in a folder that belongs to a tag, not a category, unless it's fundamentally broken. I had fixed that issue multiple times. That's an issue that I introduced when I was, not that I introduced, but that was something that was going on in public when I made public collections. I had to just add additional logic for where categories and tags are allowed to go in terms of which folders they're allowed to go into. And when I was testing it and trying to break the front end, I managed to find some holes. I plugged them, but that's probably the deal there. So if I just look at test cat 1, for example, here, geez. What? That's not what I expect. Okay. Cat folder. Oh no, it says title of the base folder. Oh yeah, well, but where is base folder? Parent folder is cat folder, and cat folder doesn't exist, I bet. What's wrong with cat folder? Cat folder. parent folder. Wait. So the parent folder ID is 82, which is this guy. So cat folder is a parent of, this is a circular reference, that's probably the problem. Base folder belongs to cat folder, which belongs to, yeah. So, okay, so F1 or F2, F2.parent folder ID equals null, null, nil. Save. All right. Now, if I refresh this, we have cat folder, we have base folder, test cat 1. Cool. Okay, we're in business. Fixed that problem too. I made drag and drop a lot better. And this like highlighting thing that happens is over like the valid drop errors. Yeah, that's fine. Was a new feature, but in order to make sure the right thing got highlighted, I had to do some testing, and that's what went on there. I digress. So we're in business. We fixed this for categories. So and we made things typed a little bit better too. Things are now have an explicit type, and we have our index file. All it does is fetch folder and category data, and then displays the category display. And then the category display just takes a bunch of stuff and renders it. This component is still kind of big, 444 lines long. It's big, but it's fine for now. I could spend forever refactoring and making the prettiest code on the planet. Diminishing marginal returns with refactoring, and the goal right now is to ship the MVP of public collections. At another time, I'll come back and refactor. I have incurred technical debt with how large this component is, but it's not a lot of technical debt. It's not a big deal for now. So that's categories. Now we need to do the same things with tags. Also, so we need to do this with categories, tags, and folders, but we're getting folders for free. We're passing in folders. So we don't have to tackle folders separately. We'll do the same thing for tags, and then we're going to be good to go. After that, links, categories, tags, and folders will all be handled, and we can make a new component, new wrappers that render the exact same category as display, but these queries aren't going to be fetching data for the given user. They're going to be fetching data for the given collection, and things should just work. Famous last words, but yeah. Okay, so on to tags.